get a reminder about, or
I'm going to actually interrupt you for just a second.
Sure.
The reason why Kylie can teach today, so two things. I want you to tell just really quick your backstory of reaching out to
Cody,
of how you got into real estate. But Kylie was also Rookie of the Year for our office, so give her a hand for that. And, in a very short period of time, I think you're just about 2 years old. Right? So,
yes, I just hit 2 years.
Yeah. So she's crushed it and built a really big business in a short period. And she's also an ALC member, and many of you have engaged with that committee this year and have been beneficiaries of a lot of the value that you guys have gotten from that. But you've been crushing it, and that's also why this topic is top of mind. So we'd love to hear from you. But yeah, maybe just tell your backstory in the real estate and then we can jump into it.
Sure. Thanks, Shoni. Okay, so for those of you, I'm sure some of you have heard my story, but for those of you who have not, I was in the tech startup world for a decade before I came into real estate. Got a degree in communications, became an advanced mediator, and realized in fall 2023, November specifically, I was burnt out in tech and startups. So somebody said real estate could maybe be a good fit. So I Googled top real estate teams in Utah. Red Sign team popped up. So I found Cody's email and I emailed him my resume. And I said, hi, can you hire me to be a realtor for you? And I got a phone call from Cody and he said, hey, Kylie, I got your resume. This is so awesome, but this is not how you become a realtor. And I was like, what are you talking about? So literally I knew negative about real estate. So anyway, long story short, I came in, chatted with Cody. He interviewed me. I interviewed him because I had to make sure this was a thing, a good path. I decided, okay, you know what? I think I'm going to do this, but I need to do it now. And so Cody walked me down the hallway. Keller Williams actually scholarshiped me. I think I found out I was the first person to use the scholarship, right? So they scholarshiped the cost of my education, and I got it. I finished it in maybe 6 weeks, and then took the test and signed with Keller Williams, and the rest is kind of history. So I've really enjoyed my time. I also think not many people know this. Right after I got my license, my husband was jobless. He became jobless. And it was then on me. And I had just switched to full commission career path. I left a 6-figure salary to do this. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, this is make it or break it. I sat down with Cameron and said, okay, I got to a point right after I signed. I was like, Cameron, I have 45 days to prove myself, or I will not make my mortgage and I got to go get a job somewhere else. But Cameron, asked me well, Kylie, what's your why? So we talked about that. And also it really came down to it wasn't a gamble because I was taking a chance on myself and I had myself to rely on. So I knew I could do it. So it really was high stakes for me moving into real estate. And I think I got my first deal maybe 6 weeks after I got my license. So I grinded, I worked really hard, and I got that first deal, was able to cover my mortgage, and thought, okay, I can do this. So that's kind of how I started. So today I thought it would be really helpful to talk about communicating your value and how to get paid accordingly. The reason I worded it this way is because the way you talk about yourself is does this have a light? Oh, it does. So the way you talk about yourself will result in how you get compensated, in what your income looks like. Let's see if this works. Okay, there. Okay, so this is, by the way, I'm very, if anybody's ever been around me, I love participation. I'm okay if you're loud. I encourage it. So I want you to answer this. What is the hardest conversation you could potentially have with clients? You're welcome to shout it out or raise hands. I don't care. Price reduction, okay? Low equity, negative equity. What was that, Spencer? You lost your earnest money deposit. That's hard. Okay. Anything else that could be uncomfortable? Oh, commissions. Wow, Jordana really hitting it on the nose there. Okay. So you're all correct. Commission conversations, price reductions, lowball offers, negative equity. I didn't put that up, but that's a tricky one. Yes, it is. That's when we look at seller finance structures. Buyer seller expectations, inspection negotiations, right? These can all be high emotion conversations, right? We're dealing with people, so emotions are involved. Okay, so the one thing that I learned very quickly coming into real estate was that the most difficult conversations really didn't have to do with the actual real estate at all. It had to do with the people and how I communicated with them, how they interacted with others, how I communicated with the agent on the other side. And this part's tricky, how the agent communicates with their clients, right? So I've worked really hard to try and find a really good system to help both educate clients and sometimes the other agents, if you know what I'm talking about, bridge that gap and make sure everything I'm doing is proactive so that they feel they're armed with the most knowledge they need to remove that extra layer of emotion, right? So a lot of times I see this. I actually had a phone call where an agent literally did this in my phone call, and I had to stop the negotiation and say, hold on, I'm sensing a lot of emotions. Let's just get back to our foundation, right? And I actually had to do that yesterday. So that's funny. But a lot of times we see when conflict appears, a lot of agents will explain, why they are saying something they do, why they believe that. Then they're defending their process, right? Well, let's just stick to the process. Let's make sure we do it the way that I am comfortable with. And then try to push towards that solution or convince them of such. Is this working? Oh, yeah. Can we turn off the front lights? Thank you, Marcus. Marcus is the best. Okay, is that better? Good? Sorry, guys. Next time I'll make it black slides, and then it'll be easier. So the important thing I want to point out here is a lot of times we fall into this here before we ever ask questions and understand their why or where their concern actually comes from. Like I said, I got a degree in communications, and during that time, I also became an advanced mediator. I have a soft spot for kids because I am a kid, and so I spent a lot of time working in the high schools with the at-risk students, helping bridge the gap between their parents and the school and them, and would sit and host mediation sessions. We would do 4 or 5 week sessions where they'd come once a week, and we would just help them. And so I was the mediator for that. So I did a lot of mediation before I came into real estate. And what I realized is every time you are negotiating, which could be even talking with a potential client and ensuring you're communicating your value properly, that could be a negotiation aspect, right? I approach it like a mediation. So this is kind of the flow that I follow. First, it's important to listen, right? We know this. The best realtors are also the best listeners. Make sure that you are doing things to form that trust. And a lot of times it's just by showing that you're listening and using what's called active listening, right? You're saying it back to them so that they feel heard. And then they'll ask for your guidance. And that's when you finally are able to see some positive outcomes. So this is kind of, I'm calling it the mediation mindset, right? Listen first, understand them, and then they'll be open to understanding you. All right, this is kind of self-explanatory. I won't go through all of it, but I know all of you have I have experienced this myself. I definitely get walls up when I don't feel heard or understood. And I want to make sure that, especially like even if I'm going to buy a car, for example, I don't even start negotiating till I make sure I feel like that salesperson is going to listen to me, right? And hear me and understand me, and that they're not pushy. So just make sure we're being sensitive to that, and that's what I work really hard to do as well. Okay. Has anyone ever, by raise of hands, have you ever been asked this? I guess a little bit differently. Oh, also, AI made this, and I tried to have it fix all its grammatical errors, and it just started breaking itself. So this is what we have. I did not spell these things, okay? Has anyone ever asked, by raise of hand, for you to lower your commission up front? Okay, actually less hands than I expected. Are we doing business, people? Okay. Okay. Thank you for being honest. Those of you for being honest. A lot of so I'm curious, those who raised their hands, what was your response? Anyone want to share? Spencer?
We were on that initial. Before you come over, I'm just saying.
Okay.
Well, again, just so you know, I got that. And then just at the end explained, I just said, like, I charge 3%. He's like, okay, well, like I said, we can't do more than 2%. I was like, okay, yeah, I totally get it. I do 3%. And then I left. And then he called me 2 days later. He's like, hey, we want to use you. We like you the best. And so it was a good lesson for me of just like sticking with it.
Yeah. So being confident in your negotiation.
I even told him there, I was like, well, do you want a realtor that's willing to negotiate commission and then try to negotiate your sale?
I'm going to repeat this if it's being recorded. If you want a realtor who will protect your interests, who's a strong negotiator, do you want them to be willing to discount their own commission up front? No.
Yes, that is correct.
Saying it louder for the people in the recording in the back.
Well, usually when you're doing your marketing plan, what you're going to do for them while you're doing your presentation, and when they come back after the fee, the logical question is, so what part of the marketing plan did you want to get rid of? Did you not want to do? Put it on their shoulders, and they're like, "What? No, I just want you to do it for cheaper." But you kind of tie it to the thing. And you say, "Look, if you're just looking for, an agent that's going to put a sign in the yard, put it in the MLS, and that's it."
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else have a comment or thought about this? Okay. Thank you for sharing. So I love it. I feel like Spencer gave us a great example of just being confident in knowing your value, knowing your worth, and being okay. What I heard was Spencer said, well, this is what I offer. This is what I work really hard to get in return if it's your choice. And was comfortable leaving after that and letting him choose. Yes, Spence?
To be that
Yeah.
I just don't like doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's great that you figured that out for yourself and you're, confident in that. And then we also heard, okay, well, here is everything we offer, all of the value that I provide. If you're wanting a discount, then I'm also going to need to discount my value and communicating that up front. So I think that's a good approach as well. I've heard other agents do that. A lot of times when people are asking this question, there's another reason that they're worried about the commission. It's not actually about the commission usually, right? It's usually about, okay, how much affordability after the fact, or I don't know what this is supposed to be. Fincircurland experiences. Who knows? Right? Maybe they already had a previous bad experience, potentially with a discount agent or maybe a full service agent who just let them down. We never know what people are going through, why they ask what they do. The only way to learn is to understand, right? To ask why, to talk through it, and to be comfortable sitting in it. Okay, so I want to do a small little group activity. What time? Okay, yeah, we're chilling. All right, so everybody, let's do I'm not going to count all y'all. Break up into like little groups between 3 and 5 people. And I want you to think of one or two of you, think of a recent objection that you received when you were talking to, you can do either a client or another agent on behalf of their client, because we do receive that a lot in our negotiations, right? So either one, I want you to be thinking of one that you received. Share it with the group, and that's it for a minute. What we're going to be asking this, or I guess you can explain this as well, but the rest of the group, I just want you to listen. Okay? All right, break off like 3 to 5 people, or just, if you have a full table, that's great too. If not, go join a table. Just listening. Oh, sure. Oh, okay. I love it. Are you doing the activity?
I can't really hear.
I just can't hear. Are you sharing your example?
Yeah, do louder.
Sorry. Cameron's. I can't hear past Cameron, so I'm just having.
Well, I just absorbed.
I know.
And I just thought maybe you were just coming to talk to just.
Well, I wanted to talk to her, but it's kind of related to what you're like, because I have a buyer that wants to offer on a house, but
I love it.
it's
Good
like
start.
low ball offer.
Okay.
And she wants to push for the.
Do you know why?
Just because that's where they're comfortable at. Like,
Why?
comfort level of how much they want to pay.
You don't want to be house
Is, that's where they want to be. So, so my approach is, I told them that I don't think this offer is going to work. I don't know if this is the right approach. I'm just being honest with them. Like, I feel like this is going to be rejected, and so I suggested like 4 other houses, and I want them to like get the good job.
They were chasing me and getting my other milk. I'm gonna save
Okay.
these ones.
Okay. Hey, girls, you're doing a good job being quiet, okay?
How long is it?
I'm almost at 20 minutes.
listed for ourselves.
That's what I'm saying.
This is very close to the go to where you're at. And we have to pay you on top of other people. They end up going with the discount. They sold it for less
Would
than
you like a button?
So what was their underlying concern? Was it actually just money?
I think it's just money and then what it's going to be.
Did it get sold?
It gets sold. I talked
But for less than.
It's like they get sold for less than what they don't think.
After.
I'd say always leave the high.
That guy ordered the food. You asked him what he ordered.
I feel like I'm willing to go low, and it kind of like makes them not.
I was just curious, you have customers that and like selling, especially like doing people that bought 5 years ago, they're almost
Yes.
too much, and so now they're like, yeah, what do you guys do with that?
That's so valid.
Saturday.
Hello.
And I'm going to negotiate with them for something else. Or I might say, typically, I hold the line on this structure financially, but what I'm willing to do is if you guys can find somebody to refer to me in the next 6 months.
Look at this picture. This is all AI. Like, who did the photos?
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? What?
This is big.
Yeah.
This big.
All right, guys. We're going to wrap it up. I'll give you 30 more seconds to finish your thought.
But not right this second in 30 seconds. Tell me go sit down when you're going to start.
What? All right. We're going to keep going. We do have one more activity. So I'm going to breeze through these next couple slides to give you the framework for your next little table discussion. And you're welcome to just kind of listen if you're finishing up. You probably already know this stuff, but just in case you don't, a little reminder. As we've already kind of mentioned and pointed out, when people have objections or questions with emotion tied to the question, there's generally a fear or lack of understanding or lack of knowledge, right? The fear comes from lack of understanding or lack of knowledge. So what is the simple solution when people have a fear about something in the real estate process? We educate more. We provide more knowledge. It's literally our job, right? Section 5.1, in order to fully fulfill our duties, that is what we should be focusing on, right? To best represent our clients, be fully transparent, honest, put them first. we need to focus on educating and empowering them with more knowledge, right? A lot of times when they're asking things like this, they're actually saying something else. And it is our job to make sure that we are slowing our own selves down so that we're hearing them properly. All right. Please enjoy these images created by AI as well. This is the third iteration. The other one, anyway, I'll show you. If you want to see the first iterations, come talk to me later. All right, so this is the framework I encourage everybody to adopt and utilize. I always say, like, I'm a kid. The best thing about kids is they're always curious. And I think that is magical, right? I think that's also how they keep the magic in their life. Kind of like side note, I totally just separate from real estate. As long as you stay curious, you will be successful in anything you do. Honestly, I think that is that's the secret, is stay curious. So here's the curiosity framework. Instead of convincing people why your ideas are better or why they should listen to another story about something you did or whatever, get curious, ask them questions, right? Hey, tell me more about that. What is your biggest concern? Do you have any fears about this? And I just straight up ask them because they want to be heard. They want to be understood. This is, these are big decisions. This is a lot of dollars we're helping them deal with. Help me understand your thinking. It's okay if you don't fully understand what they mean or what they're asking, right? We can be curious without sounding uneducated. And I think that's really important. What would make you feel confident? I usually say confident because confidence trumps comfort. If I had looked more closely, I probably would have put confident because we're not necessarily here to make people completely comfortable, because even these decisions can cause friction. This process naturally creates friction, right? Our jobs are to help build confidence through empowerment and knowledge and education. Comfort will come. Okay, so curiosity formula, right? We listen, we understand, we validate. And then if they ask for it or are open to it, if you do these three things, they're going to ask for your guidance or your thoughts. Then we guide. In this order, if you can follow this sequence, you will look like the professional that they need, that they're hoping for. Okay, here's our quick other exercise. So I'm just gonna give each of you, I'm gonna assign a scenario to each table. Here's the one rule: no providing solutions, only asking questions. So this might be hard for the person who actually has to be the concerned client. So sorry in advance, but it's good for you. So respond with curiosity, okay? No answers, and let's just see where we end up and how it goes. So let's do this table here. You get scenario 1, back table, scenario 2, scenario 3, scenario 4, scenario 1, scenario 2. Okay? Go ahead and I'll give you 4 minutes. Go. Oh, pick somebody to be the seller that wants to reduce commission or the seller that refuses a price reduction. Buyer wants to see 40 plus homes in the same day or weekend. Seller wants to reject a strong offer because they got it the first day they listed. Go ahead.
And basically just said, hey, you marketed the 40 quarts or whatever grape juice that my grapevines get every year.
And overall, I haven't done that. But he's like, I think you need to make sure to market that.
Because the sunset's equal.
Do they have?
But he does have ears, right? So it
Does
also have
Locust
ears.
have like
Did you meet your
little
friend? I think that friend's your age. The one on the tablet. Hey, how old are you? You're 9? She's 8. Like almost 9. When do you turn 10? In September? Oh. So you'll turn 10 when you go into fifth grade? 4th grade. That's crazy. She's going into 3rd grade. So you guys are just like, it was 3rd grade fun?
Oh, really? It went by so slow.
Really? Maisie, what's your name?
My name is Rose.
Rosie? That's Maisie, and that's Zoe. Maisie, Rosie just did 3rd grade. I think Maisie's feeling shy. My girls get shy sometimes. Do you get shy? Yeah. Well, you girls could learn some manners, but it's okay. You're all right. You're not in trouble. All right, guys, for sake of time, I am going to pull us back to the front. I'm going to walk around, and I want a spokesperson from each group. I'm going to give you the microphone and give me a summary of how it went, like 30-second summary, okay? We feel good about that? Angie feels confident. Are you going to be the spokeslady? He goes, she's good at it.
I feel like Amber would have good feedback because you're the one that was answering.
So
It went good. Lots of different questions. We went down lots of different paths. I don't know if there's something. It was more about why are you selling it and why? What's the why? What would life look like if you didn't sell? What would happen if you stayed in your current home? That kind of stuff.
Okay. So you had scenario 1, the seller wants to reduce your commission, and instead of focusing on commission, you just kept asking their motivation on even getting to this point, having this conversation.
Yeah, why did you call us?
Yeah, and the value. That's awesome. Thanks, guys. Okay, you had scenario 2. I know this. Seller refuses a price reduction. Yeah?
They pretty much, she was just asking a lot of questions on the reason why she was set in that price and why they couldn't negotiate the price. And they were discussing different options. She was talking about a company that would remodel the home and charge after.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so things like that, I guess.
Okay, question for the table. Do you feel like you learned more just sitting and asking questions than you would have normally in that conversation? Yes. They said yes, everyone. All right, scenario, you guys are 3? Yeah. Okay, buyer wants to see 40 plus homes.
It's basically, we'll sit down in front of the MLS and we'll look at 40 homes. The question behind it is, 40. How did you come up with 40? And you start with that, and you're trying to understand what they're really getting to, because really the point you're trying to make is we need to understand where they're at. And as salespeople, we commonly jump to conclusions and assume that this is what they want or this is what they should want, and start doing our own agenda, and we start losing it.
Yeah.
All the time. And obviously the key of what they're looking for is that you only understand value when you're comparing something. Okay, you have to you can't just look at one property and go, hey, is that a good deal or not? I mean, I learned that in commercial when I took this great deal to Don Sterling, who owned the Clippers and stuff like that, and go, hey, this is a fantastic deal in Encino, California, the 76 units. And he's coming like, he didn't understand value, and so people need to be taught that. And usually when we're working with builders or with buyers, it may take, 10 to 12 homes before they start understanding where the market is and what's good.
Awesome. Thank you. Scenario 4 over here. Seller wants to reject a strong offer because they received it so quickly. They're feeling overconfident, maybe.
I was hoping to comment on the last one.
Oh, go ahead and comment. Scenario 3.
So scenario 3, why are they showing you 40 homes when you have done a great buyer consultation and understanding?
So what question would you ask?
I have a good one. Okay, here you go.
Seller wants to reject a strong offer.
Yes, so we had a scenario where it was on the market a day and received a cash offer of $10,000 below list price. And our seller was so hard.
We didn't get it.
Yes.
Okay, focus on the experience with asking questions, right?
We asked a lot of questions and asked her what was, and it was cash, get the most cash out of the deal.
Well, and they did a good job. They did a good job at like even catching me off guard. And obviously, I'm not in this situation as a seller, but like they did a good job where the questions even made me double think or like rethink, like, I don't know, what is most important to me or why. So that was good.
Okay.
Yeah, like, do you know what a cash offer is and what that can do for you? Are you okay if we did, just turn down this offer? And are you okay with not getting another offer for another couple months?
Yeah.
Is that worth getting an extra mortgage and increasing $10,000 on a good cash offer?
And also to just say that in the beginning, when we were starting this, the impulse was to answer the objection. And when we remembered that the goal was to ask questions, it really unlocked it unlocked so much of the conversation and gave us so many other avenues to pursue instead of just trying to, go head to head.
Love it. Thanks, guys. Here.
Okay, go ahead.
Is it really quick?
Go ahead.
Okay. So
they feel understood when you start asking them questions like that. They feel understood. Lots of times, their objections unravel just because they feel understood.
Yeah, their objections get answered just through talking through it. Yeah. All right, real quick, guys.
Where are we going?
Just your experience in only asking the questions, right? You had scenario 1.
We failed this.
Oh, hey, thank you for your honesty.
We did talk about, we want to reduce the price. Basically, we kind of asked, I understand you want to save money, but what's more important to you, saving money or getting more buyers?
Saving money or making money?
Saving money or making money.
Yep, love it. Thank you. I love it. All right, Cam.
It's really hard to ask questions when you're trying to convince people of something only through questions. Very
you
curious.
Can't steer.
There's a scenario, it's really easy to come up with more and more questions because you're just curious. You're not trying to do tie downs or closes or anything like that. So.
Love it. Thank you. Okay, guys. For sake of time, I'm happy to share these slides because I do have more content, but just for sake of time, I'm going to touch on
my process, I say one thing every single time I am signing a contract. I'll focus on a BBA first. As far as commissions, I feel like people get nervous, right? It's something that they push to the end to talk about just because it's uncomfortable because it has to do with people's money. Something I say is very similar to this. I work really hard to take 3%. I ask the sellers to pay that in the final price, right? I always ask, are you aware of how agents get paid? Right? So I'm asking questions throughout this, but then I say, however, there are times when the sellers might push back and they're unwilling to give my commission or my full percentage, or maybe they want to take it down to 2%, etc. In that scenario, just know this is what I will do. And then I explain exactly what I will do. I push back, I see if they're willing to budge. Then I will come to you because my job is to be transparent and keep you updated. I will let you know this is where we're at, this is what they're willing to offer. At that point, we have 3 options. Option 1, we can increase the purchase price to just kind of like wrap in that little extra bit of my commission. And I always say some buyers can afford that, right? So I take it off of them immediately. I just say some people can afford that. That's okay, it works. Option 2, we add it to the closing costs. Some buyers have extra cash and it's not a problem. And then option 3 is I eat the cost because ultimately it's your decision. And I just want you to know that that's also an option if that is our only option. And I say that every single time so that they understand up front because I'm planting those seeds proactively. I already had that discussion right then and there. And then I say, okay, so are you comfortable with me putting 3%? Yes. Okay, great. I have never had pushback. I have had to remind them of this conversation many, many, many times. And I say, hey, remember when I brought this up? Guess what? Here's what the sellers are saying. Here's our 3 options. And I just remind them of it. And then I say, the ball's in your court. You tell me, you're in charge, you're driving the ship. Tell me, what do you think? What are your thoughts? I will let you know a lot of times if the sellers are unwilling to budge, my buyers will literally tell me, Kylie, you are worth it. We want to make sure you get paid. Let's look at options 1 and 2. Let's see what we can do. And that happens very regularly for me. Cruz, you had a question? Is it about this? All right. Okay, real quick. Okay, here we go. What's your question?
I'm Cruz. I've known Kylie for quite some time, and I've been a part of a lot of your transactions.
Cruz is a lender.
I'm a lender. And I was always curious why you always got 3%. Because I've worked with other agents in the past and currently, and you consistently get 3%, and it's some of the time it's paid by a buyer, and they are super happy to do it. And I was always just curious.
Oh, well, then I answered it. That's awkward. Thank you. Yep, this is how. I say this every single time I have this conversation up front because proactive clarity prevents reactive conflict. And I will say there are agents in here. Let me see. Hold on. Okay, so I'm not going to go through this because I know we're over time. I want to respect your lunchtime. But there are agents in here. I've had conversations with them in the past where they've even reached out and said, hey, what do I do? This agent is telling me I need to reduce my commission to save the deal, right? And we talk about it. And generally, the response I've given is if they are asking, if they're trying to negotiate your income right now, then they're a weak negotiator. So you just stay quiet, you hold your line, and you let them deal with their own stuff, figure it out on their end, and then they'll come back to you when they're ready to focus on solutions. And I would say 9 out of 10 times it works. I don't know about the 1 out of 10, but I'll let you know when I do. Okay, so I just want to reiterate the way you present yourself and your income tells the client how much to value you. If you're discounting yourself and your value and your income before the client even says anything to you, they're not going to value you the way that you could be valued, but maybe it's the way that you should be valued if you're already